Okay, so today we are going to draw a monarch butterfly. You're going to actually get to draw it however you want, but you're going to hear me say some things about it. This is actually my practice drawing, so I'm going to kind of be following that a little bit. I do want you to notice the shape of the wings. Your wings might not look like mine, and that's okay. Butterflies have very different shapes of their wings too. But do you notice how the wings are kind of the same on both sides? In fact, the spots inside the butterfly are actually also the same-ish size on both sides. So that's called symmetry when you're trying to make something look the same on both sides. So you're going to see me today when I'm drawing one thing on one side, I'm going to go ahead and draw it on the other, and I'm constantly going to be doing that until my butterfly is done. Also, my butterfly has no antennas. We're not going to add those today because we are going to cut these out and then we can add them later on when we glue them to our background paper. So your paper does need to be up and down just like mine. I'm going to make my screen a little bit bigger. And we're going to start with the thorax. The thorax is going to be right in the middle of the paper. Again, my paper is portrait. And I'm going to make an oval right in the middle of my paper. That is the thorax. That's actually the middle of the butterfly's body. On top of the thorax, I'm going to add the head. It's just an upside down U. And then underneath is called the abdomen. The abdomen is a little bit skinnier and it's kind of long. And I'm going to add that underneath, okay? Now, I'm going to add the wings. The wings are a little tricky, but we're going to make them super easy, okay? So what I'm going to do for the wings is I'm going to come underneath the head on the side, and I'm going to make a curved line that almost comes to the edge of the paper, and then I'm going to go to the other side, and I'm going to try to copy that same exact line that I drew, so it kind of looks like he has his hands up, like he's going, ta-da! Okay. So then under that, kind of where the thorax and the abdomen meet each other, I'm going to do a line that is kind of diagonal and it comes to the edge of the paper, stops about the same point, and then I'm going to go on the opposite side and do the same thing. So now it's like he's jumping up in the air, kind of, right? But we're not done. So now we're going to come towards the bottom of the abdomen, and I am going to also make another diagonal line that stops at about the same point. And I'm going to come on the other side and do the same thing. So now all three of my lines are going in the same direction. So now we're going to close in what they call the forewing would be on the top and the hind wing would be on the bottom. So when you're doing the edges, if you want to make them a little fancy, you can do that. But just know, whatever you draw on one side, you're going to try to copy it on the other. So for the forewing, I'm going to come to the edge of the left-hand side and I'm going to draw a line to close it in. But if I do this on this side, I want to try to copy it on the right-hand side. So however you did yours, you're going to try to copy that. If it doesn't look exactly the same, it's okay. Just do your best, okay? So that is the forewing. The hind wing is the one on the bottom. So the hind wing, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in a little from the edge, and I'm going to make a curved line. You can always make it a little bumpy if you want to. And then I'm going to try to do that same exact thing on the other side. And again, if it doesn't look exactly the same, that's okay. Okay, this butterfly is actually looking very different from my other butterfly, and that's cool. It's kind of the cool thing about them. Now I'm going to add the spots. The spots are a little tricky, okay? So for the spots, what we're going to be doing is shapes. Mainly like circles and ovals, but some of them have rounded edges. Some of them kind of look like rounded edges, rectangles or triangles. So what I want to focus on though is my shapes are not going to touch each other. And if I draw a shape on one side, I'm going to also add that shape on the other. So I'm going to come here on the wing, right on the side, and I'm going to do a long oval that actually touches my butterfly. And then I'm going to do that same thing on the other side. Okay, so that's my first shape. Totally easy, right? Now, I'm going to come in between in this area. Now, your area might look different from mine through the whole thing. So you're just going to see me start to draw shapes. But my shapes are never touching another line. And they're just kind of taking up the space inside the wing. So I'm going to do an oval on one side and an oval on the other. See how they match? Okay, now down here, I'm going to do a line that follows the bottom of the forewing. And I'm also going to do a line that follows the bottom of the forewing on the other side. And then I'm going to kind of make a rounded kind of triangle shape. And then I'm going to do that same thing on the other side. Notice they don't look exactly the same. I'm just doing my best, okay? Now, in this area here, I'm gonna make a rectangle that's actually got rounded edges to it. And then I'm gonna come to the other side and I'm gonna do the same thing. Now, if yours looks more like an oval, that's totally fine, okay? Now, I'm gonna come back later and I'm gonna add some shapes to kind of fill in the other spaces, okay? Now, on this bottom part, you see this is now we're on the hind legs now, and you see this area right here. So what I'm gonna do without touching the forewing, I'm now on the hind wing, I'm gonna do a long oval that kind of follows the top but doesn't touch that line. And then I'm gonna turn and do the same thing on the other side, okay? Then I'm gonna come down here and I'm gonna make a line that doesn't touch that shape I just did and doesn't also touch the bottom. And I'm gonna also do it on the other side. And then I'm gonna make a shape out of that kind of fills in this space but doesn't touch another shape. And then I'm gonna do it on the other side. Okay, and now I have some space here. I mean, you may not have space here, but I do. So I'm gonna make an oval and an oval. And then if you have space here on the bottom, I'm also gonna make another oval and another oval, and they match each other. Okay, so now I'm basically done with my butterfly, but I have some areas where I could put some shapes. Remember, I don't want my shapes to touch other shapes. And if I draw a shape on one side, I have to draw it on the other. So monarch butterflies are known for having a lot of little circles on the outside that actually we're not gonna even color them in, so it kind of makes it easy. So I'm gonna add a circle or an oval on one side and a circle on the other. So at this point, what we're doing is you're kind of on your own and you're adding circles or ovals along the outside edge of your butterfly. Yours may not be in the same area as mine because you may have different spaces on your butterfly, and that's totally okay. Some of them may be smaller, some may be a little bit larger, but remember, we don't want them to touch another shape. We're just trying to add different circles and ovals to kind of take up that space that we're just not going to color later on. I also, if I have some spaces in between my shapes, in between my butterfly, I can also do that. I was going to do one there, but I'm not going to do that part. And I'm going to do another one here. So we're just trying to fill in those spaces. Okay, once you're done, you are going to write your name, not on the butterfly. You are going to write your code, and then you're going to go over the lines for your butterfly with Sharpie.